4444.
Driving just 5 miles per hour slower than we usually do will save over 2 million gallons of gas a day and help keep America out of the red. Do your part. Drive smart.
New York Suit Exchange Sale of Sales. For the first time, America's best-selling business and European designer suits on sale at unbelievable prices. No other menswear sale can compare. Suits valued at up to $400, now $59.99, $79.99, but no suit will sell for over $100. That's right, none higher than $100 during the SOS Sale of Sales. Save on Suits Spectacular. Thousands of suits are being trucked in, but shop early for best selection. Shoes, shirts, and ties at comparable savings. You can't afford to miss the New York Suit Exchange Sale of Sales.
Today we are more conscious about the food we eat. I'm Joe Fasano, owner of the Wall Street Restaurant. Here you can enjoy delicious meals that are low in fat, cholesterol, and salt. All entrees are prepared from scratch and either baked, grilled, or broiled. This tenderloin dish, for an example, has less than 560 calories, or this orange roughy entree with only 460 calories. At the Wall Street, going out to eat doesn't mean going off your diet. When nutritious, healthy food matters, Wall Street Restaurant matters the most. You can't beat Wall Street.
This opening portion of Market Wrap is sponsored by the Travelers. You're better off under the umbrella.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Market Wrap. I'm Neil Cavuto.
And I'm Bill Griffith. Here's what happened this Friday. The U.S. markets going out with a definite case of the jitters today, capping off a very volatile week. Stocks succumbed to sell programs around midday today and didn't have the energy to recover. Bonds traded listlessly in a narrow range, and the dollar once again followed the stock market's lead and headed lower in Forex trading today. It was clear the markets were looking for some direction about the economy, but market watcher Justin Mamus has his own ideas about what the ultimate resolution for the market is.
I think you have to come down. You have to do what would look like a fairly textbook-oriented pullback to the breakout point, which was 2650. And then you don't know whether you get massively oversold, like you did last fall, and it's a real clean out, or it's just a way station. And you really don't know that in advance.
Well, there was a lot of finger pointing for the market's rather rocky performance today, but almost all those fingers pointing in one general direction, Washington. And at one general issue, the economy. And on that count, the news isn't getting any better. Take the October budget deficit, rounding out the month at a staggering $36 billion, 15% more than in October 1990. And a reminder to the markets that Uncle Sam is easily hurtling toward a record $350 billion annual deficit. Both stock and bond prices slipped further on the deficit news. Remember that a bigger deficit means a bigger supply of paper for Uncle Sam to sell to the markets. And Dean Witter's Bill Sullivan says that means only one thing: higher interest rates. And in Washington, higher tensions. No less than House Majority Leader Richard Gephardt blasting the president for doing nothing to address what he called an economic crisis.
This country has got terrible problems. It's in a mess. This economy is miserable. And we've got to move it in the right direction, and we want to do that. We represent the people that are getting hurt. We're out talking to them every week.
Now, for his part, President Bush met with top economists to map out a plan on the economy, but skipped out to Camp David before a gathering of GOP lawmakers later in the day.
Stock prices climbing off the lows late in the session this afternoon, recovering from that midday deluge of computer-guided program selling. Big board issues were lower, as were stocks trading on the American Stock Exchange and in the over-the-counter market. Here's how the markets did this Friday in the absence of any major news on the economy. We saw the Dow Industrials down 27.25 points. We had about a 40-point drop at one time today, closing today around the 29.05 level. Dow Transport's down 17.75 points, and the utilities average down 2 full points at 212.63. The declines beat the advances by more than a 2-to-1 margin, and we saw 471 issues unchanged on the day. And the broader market averages were also lower. The Standard & Poor's 500 index down 3.39. The American Stock Exchange average down 2.77 today. And the NASDAQ Composite Index was down 3.69 at 526.64.
Now, among some of the stocks in the news today, shares of Sanford soared in over-the-counter trading, up 10 7/8 today to 36 1/8. The Illinois manufacturer of writing instruments and office supplies agreed to be acquired by Newell in a $40 a share stock swap deal. But Newell shares lost on the day, down 2 to 39 3/8 on the big board. Newell makes consumer hardware and housewares along with a variety of industrial products. The deal requires the approval of both stockholders and regulators. Shares of Dow component General Electric down 1/8 at 66 5/8. GE raised its quarterly dividend today to 55 cents a share from 51 cents. General Electric, by the way, the parent company of this network. Shares of Student Loan Marketing Association ending the day down 3/4 at 59. The government-sponsored entity known better as Sallie Mae raising its quarterly payout to 25 cents a share from 20 cents and authorized a stock buyback on an additional 4 million common shares. Shares of Dayton Hudson ending the day up 1/8 at 58 7/8. Dayton Hudson, by the way, was unchanged, I should say. They're 58 3/4. This on news that it plans to invest $1 billion next year to build new stores and remodel existing ones. The project includes the landmark Marshall Field store on Chicago's State Street.
Elsewhere, Unisys says its Paramax defense unit is not for sale. Even so, it has decided to scrap plans for a proposed public offering as well. Company cites unsettled financial market conditions and uncertainty about the future of defense spending as the reasons for pulling the plug on that offering. In late September, Unisys had planned to sell 20 million shares of Paramax in a price range between $22 and $25. Despite the Paramax offer withdrawal, though, a Unisys spokesman says the company is on target to cut $600 million of debt this year. Ironically, Unisys has been hurt in recent years by its large debt and slumping computer markets, but its defense unit has been its most consistently profitable business. Shares of Unisys today closed unchanged at $4 a share.
One of the nation's largest telephone companies, NYNEX Corporation, plans to cut 2,400 management jobs. 1,900 employees will be let go by the end of March. The rest will receive notice sometime over the next year. And NYMEX says that it is taking an after-tax charge of about $550 million in the fourth quarter to pay for the reductions and the restructuring. NYMEX also intends to leave real estate development and management businesses. On the day also, there was a bottom line change over at Oryx Energy that will feel the pinch in the fourth quarter from a $35 million after-tax charge relating to the restructuring it announced just last month. Oryx says that the charge will pay for a 40% reduction in staff and office consolidation, but will not affect 1992 earnings. Shares of Oryx on the day up 1/4 at 26 1/8.
Shares of U.S. Bioscience down today, down 1.5 at 61.5 on the close. Earlier in the session, the American Stock Exchange said it canceled all stop-loss orders to the brokers because there was such a large number of them on the books at this time. U.S. Bioscience had risen more than $23 this week after the company said the FDA granted an earlier than usual review for a new chemotherapy drug it is developing. Shares of pharmaceutical giant Bristol Myers Squibb were off sharply today, closing down 1.5 at 80 1/4. Smith Barney lowered 1992 earnings estimates, anticipating more aggressive pharmaceutical pricing next year. Recently, Bristol Myers said it would price its just-approved cholesterol-lowering drug at 5 to 10% below a Merck's similar drug, Mevacor, the leading anti-cholesterol drug in the U.S. market. Coming up next year on the Money Wheel. This is Market Wrap now, Bill. A California bank says it will seek investigation of recent speculation.
Okay, and American Airlines terminates talks with a Midwest regional carrier. Those stores and much more when we come back.
Valuable than most, this umbrella. Those who carry the Travelers for business insurance carry a 127-year tradition of excellence, upheld by 35,000 employees dedicated to customer satisfaction. Chosen by 50% of the Fortune 500,